Hey there, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Timberborn in Woodsyville. Episode 3 now, I believe, at this point. We are, I think at this point, finally getting the basics under control. Logs are still a bit of an issue, but food absolutely not a problem at all. We're going to be expanding out some more water production in this area in just a little bit to make sure we have plenty of that. Power is, for the most part, completely under control, and we do have a big dam that is ensuring we can survive for at least a bit longer when we do eventually have a drought. So at this point, I think there's a few things I need to do. One, keep getting those logs, for real, for God's sake. Get these maples planted down. Get me such unbelievable log production that I can do whatever the heck I want. Then eventually, possibly, we want to build a new district out in this approximate area and build a super dam out over here. This will raise the water level a lot, so we'll need to be prepared to stymie that off, at least in this general area, for example, so that the water does not flow all the way down over here and flood me. Another thing I need to start doing, maybe not this video, but very soon, is to start working out this direction and start extracting some of this scrap metal. Now, because of our faction, we don't need metal like that badly, but you better believe we're gonna need it at some point, so that is going to be a fairly high priority for me. I do have another grill, by the way, so now we are roasting up some chestnuts, and whenever we run out of those, we'll go ahead and roast up some spatterdock and so on. The idea being that we want to get the population well-being as high as possible. Population well-being, I believe, does increase the birth rate, movement speed, and productivity of your citizens the more you have, I think. So that would be a good thing to have. Notice, by the way, that by placing down shrubs over here, we'll actually take a good look at this in a little bit. But by placing down some of these shrubs, we are actually increasing the... Excuse me, let me get rid of these real quick because there's no point in having them this close together. We're increasing the aesthetic appeal as people walk by. Now, it's very temporary. If we click on one of these guys right down over here, as they walk by the shrub, you'll see that they got a tiny little bit of well-being down here. It's not a lot. So you need a lot more shrubs in order for this to work, and it does take a lot of logs for that to work as well. So, we'll have some along some main highways, but at least at some point we'll want to swap over to some different forms of aesthetics and just make people a bit happier. Get that well-being up nice and high. Oh man, the first of the maples are finally grown. They do take a very long time to chop down, unfortunately, but with 8 logs each, I mean, that is a heck of a lot more value, so, yeah, hopefully this is the beginning of the end for my wood bottleneck. I mean, that's been kind of the entire point of planting down all these maples, am I right? By the way, let's go ahead and make sure we expand to, whoops, chop down all these trees over here. Just another little influx, keep me going. Everything's looking a-okay. Starting to look fine on water, by the way. I was looking a little bit questionable for a brief moment, but it turns out we're actually okay there. Not bad. Something else we should consider doing is placing down, let's say, some rooftop terraces, which will give a little bit of extra leisure in a couple of spots. So how about right here, for example? Should be fine, and then, I don't know, maybe a couple extra houses. We're pretty much capped out on our housing once again. Not a whole lot more room to go there, I suppose. And building out another row of platforms, which is going to give us more access to housing. So we'll go ahead and place a couple down over here and make sure that we do include the paths. Like so. Okay. So this will be nice. Having some sunroof terraces and such. We may need 2 of these, actually, in order to meet everyone's needs, but we'll see. I'm also building down another campfire because we can see here that, generally speaking, people have not been able to fulfill their needs around the campfire. So we're not quite getting that quality of life boost that we were hoping for, but okay. I got 666 research points to spend. That's a fair bit. The thing is, it's not, like, abundantly obvious to me what I ought to be getting. A builder's hut would make a lot of sense. We don't necessarily need this yet, but it can expand the range for your builders, not to mention if people are not doing anything as builders, then they'll just kind of default to becoming haulers, which can be nice. Distribution posts and outposts will end up being very important for me at some point as well, though maybe not this exact second. I would like to get a larger water tank, just so I'll be able to store up a lot more when the time comes. The question, though, being where to place it. Can, weirdly enough, place it up here, for example. That's kind of fun. Huh, we could totally place a water tower on top of everything. I don't see a lot of benefit in doing that, but it is a thing that we could do. I think I'd rather just go ahead and place some water over here and just sacrifice a little bit of food gain Because at this point, like, are we having issues with food? No, food is not even remotely a problem, so I'll just go for some larger water storage over here. And the great thing about placing this campfire next to some of these bushes is I'm pretty sure that people are actually technically fulfilling 2 needs at once, which is great. And we can see that some people are now getting the rooftop terrace, so we are getting at least a bit of extra productivity over here. Not quite enough, though. We're going to need a lot more of those if we want to really build that up, but for now I'm kind of happy with what we've got. By the way, remember, if we can just get progress on 1 more of these well-being factions, we'll go ahead and unlock the Iron Teeth. Obviously, I don't plan on quitting this game in order to play as the Iron Teeth right now. You just get the idea. It's something we'll be able to do in the future. Hard mode, you know? Little hard mode Iron Teeth action. That could be fun. Maybe. I don't know. How are we doing on planks? 78? Okay. I feel like what we're going to need is 3 or maybe 4 lumber mills working before I can consistently move on to gears. And of course, we need a lot more log production, though I'm seeing plenty of maples being planted down here, so if these lumberjacks would please go and do their gosh dang jobs, that's a lot of extra logs. Whenever I have extra unemployed people, by the way, we should go ahead and toss them into the hauling post. The hauling post sounds kind of inconsequential because, I mean, it's just people doing hauling jobs, which is what they'll default to anyway, right? But if they're dedicated to this job specifically, then they can carry a lot more. So it's worth having at least a handful of folks in the hauling post. At some point, that's where we also want to get things like distribution points and drop-off points, because when I start placing down new districts in different locations, then I'm going to want these people to be able to quickly drop off goods in new districts. Think of districts as building almost like an entire new city. You got to get your housing, you've got to get your food, you got to get your processing all set up in those areas. Sometimes you don't even want to do that. All you want to do is just have an outpost that people are in range to build a big project like a dam. And then you just send them resources, and they're kind of like a de facto colony, but eventually you end up tearing it back down. That is certainly an option for us. Not necessarily something I plan on doing right now, but it is a thing we could do. Oh, I forgot about gears. Right, so the large water tank actually is useless at the moment. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this straight power shaft over here. And we are going to get ourselves another one. That's metal. Sorry, looking at the wrong things. Lumber mill. Place down another one of these. Why is it acting? Okay, apparently I can't place them on top of crops. Easily fixed. Hang on, let's go ahead and just get rid of all of this. It's not like we need more potatoes or anything, right? We got plenty of potatoes. I literally have way more potatoes than I know what to do with. In fact, I'm making so much food, it's taking up all my warehouse space, which is technically a problem. So, yeah, just go ahead and tear all that nonsense down. But yeah, let's go ahead and increase up our lumber mill production. And what I'm hoping to do is expand out our power like this. And that way we can make better use of the windmill and all of our excess power right now in order to get another lumber mill up and running. Okay, we got another drought on the way in just 3 days. I'm not feeling terribly worried about it. I mean, I don't have any idea how long the drought is going to be, but I'm pretty sure our current dam setup should be enough to keep us going for at least a while. By the way, I did place down a couple of levees over here because I was watching the flow of the water and it's like, we're not getting as much power out of this as we could be. So now all of a sudden we've boosted up our water wheels by a lot, and we're making way more power than I need. Let's go ahead and unlock the gear workshop. I think it is finally time. We'll spend some of that science. How big is it? Exactly the same size as the lumber stuff. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just tear up a whole field of potatoes like this. And we can place down a gear workshop over here, and we should have plenty of power. Notice that the windmill appears to have shut down, though. Every once in a while, something like that's going to happen. We just start making a lot less power because, well, windmills are windmills. But with the current setup of the water wheels, I mean, we're making a pretty hefty amount of power anyway, and as long as we manage our floodgates correctly, we should be able to keep this going for most of a drought, at least a reasonable amount. And if not, well, maybe I need to go ahead and start storing up even more water over here. I don't know. There we go. We have our gear workshop set up. Okay, and just like that, we are now producing gears. Why we need gears to make a giant barrel, I don't really know. It doesn't seem like it's got any machinery involved in it, but okay, that's fine. And we still left ourselves a little space for an extra windmill over here if I find that I need it. But so far, our power network supply is more than enough in order to meet all of our demands down over here. So that's a pretty decent little industrial sector that I think we've got ourselves set up over here. We are out of chestnuts, by the way. Let's go ahead and swap you guys over to the grilled spatterdock. We may want to consider farming out some chestnuts. It's been nice just harvesting these up to this point, but we're going to need more. Look at all the maple trees with maple syrup and stuff. I haven't been chopping any of these yet. I still don't even know what we would do with maple syrup. It's got to be a thing we can make here. Maple pastries. Ah, yes, that would be a thing. I'll be honest, as fun as that is, it doesn't seem nearly as important as just getting some straight-out logs. So we're going to go ahead and allow the chopping of all these maples over here. And in the meantime, if we want to go ahead and just turn this into a permanent chestnut area, you know what? So be it. That's fine with me. All right, here comes the despicable drought. It's gonna last 6 days. That really shouldn't be a problem. We've been there, we've done that all before. Yes, my power has completely shut off. Let's go ahead and reduce the water height here to 1, which is gonna keep things flowing for at least a bit. Then maybe raise it again. How much do we need to micromanage this in order to keep things flowing? This is not really enough water, in my opinion, in order to really sustain this for a long time. It's not... In fact, we've already kind of finished with it. Yeah, I feel like the only way the floodgates work is if you have, like, a massive amount of water. Truly massive. Which, by the way, is kind of why I was calling that stuff a battery before. I know some people got confused. It's like, it's a reservoir! Yes, it is, but I'm thinking from a power perspective, and right now, water is basically my storage of electricity. It's my storage of potential energy. That is, I mean, I guess in this case, the terminology we care about. We can possibly sustain ourselves a little bit with the placement of an extra windmill. Obviously, we have no wind right now, but sometimes it'll be enough to keep things going. We can try at the very least. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, no gears, no planks, so long as things are looking like that. That said, we're still doing fine on our water storage. We're doing A-okay on food. We're still growing out all of the desired trees and getting a heck of a lot more logs all of a sudden. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, we are having lots of storage issues again. Even if I build another small warehouse over here, we're filling stuff out quick. It's because I have so much gosh dang food, but also because I have a lot of logs. Building this extra warehouse over here actually would allow me to then build another one on top of it directly like that. And you might think, well, that's stupid. You can't fit anything on that. Of course I can. Shush, all is well. All you have to do is just place down some stairs like that and a little platform, and then babushka, you're done. That's all it takes. And now we'll have even more storage all in one big area, not far from the haulers, which is kind of the point. Let's see, how are these 2 windmills doing? Not enough to really keep that efficiency high, but you know what? Even 55% efficiency in a gear workshop is a heck of a lot better than 0%, which is realistically what we were looking at before. I don't know why we need blueberries, by the way. I feel like blueberries aren't really worth holding on to. Are they even worth anything as far as, like, well-being? No, not at all. Something we should start working toward at some point, of course, is going to be some bread. Oh, beehives also would be very good for us. They are unique to our particular faction. The Iron Teeth don't get them. But they boost all nearby crop production. So if I wanted more food, that would actually be a very good use of my resources. That said, well, food just keeps taking up storage, so it's not really worth it to me right now. Speaking of storage, let's place down a path, because I forget this every time, and boom, just like that. We now have 1,000 extra storage that I can work with in a nice, convenient location. Sweet. There we go. Say goodbye to that horrible drought. Still plenty of water left, so no problems there. Let that water level build back up, and out this goes, and everything is back online. Fantastic. Okay. This won't last forever. Eventually, those droughts are truly going to be extremely difficult for me to deal with. We really need to dam this area up, but I also really need to be getting metal and stuff. Ugh, there's so much we need to do. I got more unemployed people than I know what to do with, too. Ugh. All right, tell you what. We're going to go ahead and just unlock the distribution and the drop-off points. Do I know that I need these this second? No, but I think we should go ahead and get it. Let's also get ourselves a scavenger flag available for metal. And we'll probably extract metal using the district system over here, bring it all back home, and then we can smelt it and do something else with it. Another thing we should consider is probably unlocking the paper mill, which would allow us to turn logs into paper. Of course, this does take some gears in order to make that work. Once done, we could then get a printing press with books, which greatly increases people's productivity, I think by like 30% or something, which is amazing. But also, I'm pretty sure in order to get dynamite, we are going to need such things as... No, I thought I needed paper. No, for some reason I thought dynamite needed paper in order to, like, wrap it. I guess I'm wrong on that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the explosives factory. It does take paper. 3 paper turns into 1 dynamite, but we need metal in order for that to work. So all the more reason we really need to get going on some of this. Now, I've never used the district system before, so I'm a smidge concerned, but I know one thing you're supposed to do is set up a district gate. I think we need to first get rid of some of this pathing. And by the way, for those who might be wondering, well, wait, can you reach it from what you've got right now? No, if we click on this district gate, you can see right here that it actually stops right here. This is the extent of my range, so it's not going to work as is. Let's go ahead and get rid of some more pathing like so. Then we'll try setting up a little district gate right along here. And then we can continue to path out this way, and we'll need to set up a quick little district center, let's say something like this. And it looks like it gets placed down for free right away, which is really interesting. We will need to migrate some population over here, but I'm not going to say that's the immediate top priority. First things first, we'll need to get things like those drop-off points. We can place one right by the gate, I suppose. And also a distribution post, which is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Sure, this takes planks and wood and stuff. Well, we don't need this here yet. Let's instead go ahead and build this back home. We'll say off in this general area. In fact, this actually fits fairly nicely with what we've got. So we'll go ahead and place it right here next to storage, not far from haulers. Get these constructed first, and then we should be able to designate some resources from the distribution post over to the drop-off point, and with those resources there, then we can start expanding this. Then I can transfer some people over here. Then we can do a little bit of scavenging. Okay, we have our distribution points, and now we're going to set up a route over here to the drop-off post. I think first things first, we need to get some logs. And we're going to need to get some planks, both of which are going to be important. Can we... How do we state how much we want to drop off over here? District 1, District 2... okay. Over here we can say exactly what we want. So the high end, we should never be able to have more than 100 logs over in this district. I think that's the way that's set up. So let's see what's going to happen. Here come a whole bunch of beavers. You can see them carrying a lot of logs on their back. They're going to drop them all off over here, and there we go. Okay. So yeah, they're dropping off about 15 logs. Fantastic. Then we'll go over here. We'll set up another route over here. And planks are what I need, so we'll go ahead and select that. And then over here, I don't need nearly as many planks. So I'm going to say, let's say 30 for now will be the limit. And let's make sure that all works exactly as we are expecting before I commit too many more resources to this. Am I crazy on something, or has the range of water decreased in some areas? I don't remember having this much trouble with all of the trees over here. That appears to be a new issue. Interesting. We don't have a lot of time to try and get some water out in this direction before a lot of this stuff starts to die off. Very interesting. All right. Well, we need to migrate over some population. I would like to migrate over, let's say, 2 or 3 adults, I'm thinking, from... wait, how do I do... Migrate population from here to there. There we go. 2 adults will do. And we should be able to send a couple of folks over here. There they are, working here. I would like them to then build this up, if possible. Let's wait for the beavers to arrive, build themselves a home. There should be plenty of resources with which to work over here. And then just 2 beavers should be enough as long as we can sustain them with things like water and with potatoes, which I think we can. We can probably go over here and set up a quick little scavenger flag. How about a couple of them like that? This will be the highest priority, of course, to get their housing needs figured out. There we go. And actually, maybe it would be worth getting like 1 more over there at the very least. We should not need to send very many. Shouldn't need to, and I've got a few unemployed folks anyway, so that's not a very big deal. So there's a scavenging flag, and all of a sudden, take a look at that, they are now scrapping the human remains and gathering up some much-needed metal. Okay. Okay, so all is going according to plan. We are now gathering up a fair bit of metal. The problem now is getting it back to the main base, so I had to get another distribution point, but that's fine. Just a single beaver dropping some stuff off next to my haulers over here will be fine. All we want to do is drop off literally all of the scrap metal. So we should see that a beaver is now going to gather up the metal over here, bring things over apparently to the distribution post, And then should start shipping it down over here? Should. I mean, I don't know. That's the operative word there. We'll see. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get ourselves some explosives pretty soon because I know some trees are going to die. And I'd really rather avoid that. So, let's see. Explosives factory, 400 science. Oh boy. Yeah, we're going to lose a lot of maple trees over here just because I'm not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to get my explosives fast enough. I suppose one thing we could technically do is levy this area up temporarily to create a flood over here. Ooh, I suppose that works. I mean, we're kind of going to a lot of effort to free, like, just a small number of trees, but, let's just temporarily place down this levee and see what happens. It's gonna create a flood. All right, this is a known fact. It's going to create a flood. But if we quickly demolish this stuff before it destroys anything, who cares? It'll all be great. I did build another terrace over here, by the way. It looks great, don't you think? I kind of like the asymmetry of this building. Some might say that it's an extreme eyesore. I don't know. I don't really agree. I mean, I kind of agree. It is an eyesore, but I kind of like it. I'd like to get these double lodges going up if we can, by the way. It would be kind of nice to just see what these look like. Then we can place some roofs on top of this, and we can just end this apartment building and start maybe building out some housing off in this direction in the non-fertile land because, I mean, why waste the good stuff? You know what I mean? Whoop, whoop, there we go. Okay, hang on. We got a little bit of flooding going on. And there we go. Fertility. Okay, quickly cancel all of this. It's already starting to cause some issues. You can see that it's flooding my berries. All this is going to do is just basically like eliminate a bunch of my fertility for these plants and stuff. But the good news is you can destroy buildings instantaneously, so it doesn't really matter that much. This is a pretty easy thing for me to do. That guy's going to just have a sudden plunge into the water. Ah! But we're fine. There we go. All right, a little bit of water means, hey, we saved all of these trees, except for I think one. Man, I feel slightly smart. Maybe. I don't know. A little bit? We have 300 science. Let's go ahead and unlock this smelter. It's going to take 20 gears, but that is pretty close to what we've already got, plus plenty of planks, my god. And then, yeah, some of that scrap metal, which we should have a fair bit delivered over here already. So, let's go ahead and place one of these. Question, does this take power? Yes, it does. 200 horsepower. Ouch. Okay, hang on. Maybe we should place this somewhere where I can get water wheels. In fact, yeah, I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. If we were to place some water wheels over here, that would be some fairly consistent power I could make use of. Yeah, I don't think that's a half bad idea. We might need to get some platforms and stuff set up. But let's go ahead and get rid of a bunch of these berry bushes. They're taking up like over 1,000 of my storage space right now anyway, which is absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to go ahead and clear a lot of this nonsense out. And then, yeah, maybe it's high time to go ahead and start turning this into yet another industrial zone. I don't think that's a half bad idea at all. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these resources. I will need to get a path set up. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and expand this out a bit more. Of course, I suppose the other alternative is to just go ahead and place down some more stairs. And, I mean, beavers can swim. It's completely fine if we do that. Unconnected building. Yes, we finished building another warehouse over here. This is one heck of a little storage megaplex, isn't it? Sure as heck is. I have room to place down some additional inventors over here and stuff if I want to, by the way. So that is a thing we might do at some point in the future. For now, though, I'm pretty happy with how this is all going, so I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, we have the smelter built. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do with it for a little bit. Well, I take that back. We do have a water wheel. Unfortunately, not in the best position with the water flow as it currently stands, so it's not making an absolute ton of power yet. We are building out another one of these water wheels. I suppose something we could do is actually place levees kind of along the water flow here to try and force it to go this direction. Oh, that'd be interesting, I wonder. Maybe we could do that. Huh. Well, yeah, we need more ways of directing the water flow. For now, a second water wheel, even a third one would probably be enough, and that way I could place two smelters next to each other, and they might end up getting enough power. That said, here comes another drought, which means we're not going anywhere for a little while. Yay! That drought went by without too much of a hitch. All right, so now we've got water. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden, we're getting plenty of horsepower in here. Each one of these requires 200 horsepower, huh? You know, that is admittedly a lot. That is a lot. We're not able to... Whoa, flood. What happened there? Holy crud. Something appears to be kind of like, whoa, reorganizing itself a smidge. Whoa, for frickin' heck's sake. Why are we suddenly having so much? There we go. I think the water just had a second to kind of reset itself there. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna need to produce about 400 horsepower consistently in order to get 2 smelters going, and that's gonna be a little bit tough to pull off with our current setup, but we could set up like a quick little windmill here and there, and that might make a little bit of a difference. And I am building us up a second smelter. I've also got myself a warehouse over here specifically dedicated just to things like some gears, explosives, metal blocks, and scrap metal. That way we can reduce the amount of effort that people are having to go to in order to drop off some materials. So now we should be officially producing actual metal blocks, which is great, because that means that soon we can start producing some actual explosives. I mean, we can go ahead and research this like right now, and it wouldn't take me that much longer in order to actually build this. That said, another 150 horsepower, huh? Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of consistent power, and windmills are not the most consistent. If there was any way of actually storing electricity in the form of an actual battery, that would be great, but there is not. What we may want to do, believe it or not, is set up another industrial area upstream over here and let the water kind of do its thing with another set of water wheels. That might be the best way for us to go, rather than try to stack up too much in one area over here with a really complicated power network. Though I suppose you could argue we could do the exact same thing over here in a fairly narrow area, as long as we're willing to get rid of some of these potatoes. That could be a thing. Regardless, though, I think we're going to go ahead and end this video here. Oh, I should mention that we did build out a bunch of roofs and stuff over here, just kind of cap this out. And this is a double lodge. Interestingly, a double lodge actually requires 2 floors, but the stairs are on the upstairs here, so I couldn't place a bunch over here, or else I wouldn't be able to get the platforms I needed to make this work. Nonetheless, though, I mean, this is going to look pretty good. And I'm going to save a little space over here in case we want to place some sort of a statue on top. And that would give a lot of awe to other people. Weirdly enough, though, despite all these extra efforts I've been taking to increase our happiness and our well-being, as a general rule, we're not really improving here too much. I mean, yeah, you can see that like we haven't really had enough access to campfires and roof terraces, despite the fact that I'm trying to do exactly that. So, yeah, we've only got 10 well-being, even after all this effort. Nonetheless, though, I think we'll be okay. There is our second smelter up and a-running. Excellent. All right. So our efficiency isn't outstanding, but we should be able to start producing a lot of that metal. Fan-flippin-tastic. I think I'm starting to get a handle on this. I really think that I am. Could I do a lot better? Oh, probably. And this metal, when it runs out, are we going to have some problems? Probably. But at least for now, it feels pretty good. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.